In the previous video, we talked about monopolies that are actually socially optimal when they are endorsed or allowed by the government to exist. But we also know that these monopolies are actually profit maximizing, and thus they would not be producing at the socially optimal quantity, which means that the government has to intervene so that these monopolies would actually produce at the socially optimal quantity. And so in this video, that's what we're going to talk about. What are the regulations, or how would monopolies be regulated by the government? Let's first draw a price and quantity graph here. So price and quantity, we have P here and we have Q here. And then we have demand. We have demand right here. And let's recall in our case, let's use the same example here. Let's say that the cost function of our firm, is actually 1000 plus 5Q. 1000 plus 5Q. And so our average cost is equal to 1000 over Q plus 5. And this goes down, AC goes down as Q goes up. On the other hand, we have our marginal cost, which is equal to the derivative of cost with respect to Q, which would be equal to 5. And so in our case, last time was a constant marginal cost and a diminishing average cost. So if we were to draw that on our graph, our marginal cost would look something like this. So this is our demand curve, this is our marginal cost, and our average cost would look something like this. Our average cost would look something like this. And of course, we have our marginal revenue, the marginal revenue of the firm, which looks something like this. Something like this, marginal revenue. And so if we recall, because this firm is a profit maximizing firm, it would choose to produce where MR is equal to MC. So this would be Q naught, let's say Q naught here. And it would set a price based on the demand curve, which is here. So it would set a price of Q naught here, P naught here, P naught. It would set a price of P naught there. Now let me just connect the dots here, connecting the dots. And now we know that the socially optimal quantity is where P is equal to MC, which is at this point here. So when the firm charges at P star, this is P star, this would ensure that the firm produces a socially optimal quantity of Q star. So right here, we draw a dotted line. This is along the marginal cost line here, cost curve here. And we have this quantity right here. So one of the solutions that the government can do, or one of the regulations that the government can impose on this monopolist, is for it to charge a much lower price where P is equal to MC, to ensure the socially optimal price and the socially optimal quantity. However, in the previous video, we also talked about when the firm would choose to shut down or to still operate. And we said that the firm would choose to operate when price is greater than average cost. And it would choose to shut down when price is lower than average cost. And at this quantity here, at Q star and P star, where MC is equal to P, at this point here, price is actually lower than average cost. And because of this price ceiling where the government forces this monopolist to charge a very, very low price, because of this price ceiling, the firm or the monopolist would actually choose to shut down and not produce anymore. This actually implies that the government has to subsidize the firm, so the government has to pay the firm for the losses that it incurs. However, it's not really sustainable for the government to keep on subsidizing this firm. So what happens is there are other ways to solve this problem. One such course of action is to allow the monopoly to charge a price above its marginal cost in the short run, and after it has already covered its initial investments, then the government can now push this firm to charge at a lower price, where P is equal to or less than MC. The other way of doing things is to allow the firm to charge different prices depending on the income class or the willingness to pay of the consumer. And that is what we call, or that is what we denote as price discrimination. I'll write that down. Price discrimination. Price discrimination.